Ready to shine inside out? Welcome to Polished Beauty Podcast, where ambition meets empowerment. We talk business, beauty, brain, body. I am your host, Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon and OBGYN. Let's get polished. Hey everyone, so this is another episode of Polished Beauty Podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and we're going to discuss some very interesting topic this month. This is October, and you guys know October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we're going to talk about breast cancer. The difference is that I am going to talk about breast cancer in young women. The definition of young women is less than 40. So I'm going to talk about that subtype of women that have breast cancer. All right. Breast cancer, as you know, is the second leading cause of cancer-related death in women under age 40. And this is worldwide. Okay. 44,800 deaths per year. That's a lot of women that are dying from breast cancer that are young. Why is that? Why is there a high rising incident of breast cancer in young women? I would say, number one, there's no screening modality, right? We know mammograms is recommended at 40 and above. So women less than 40 are already at a disadvantage. There's no screening test. So when they present or they have symptoms or have concerns, we don't have the screening tool for them. That's part of the reason. More importantly, when women are young and diagnosed with breast cancer, it's far gone, more aggressive. Unfortunately, the outcome is poorer for those women. So there are 5 facts I want you to know about breast cancer in younger women. 5 facts. Number 1, younger women are more likely to have aggressive forms of breast cancer disease. We know that. Number 2, racial disparities are pervasive among young Black women. Number 3, younger patients are more likely to have genetic risk factor for breast cancer. And number 4, I said 4 things, right? Number 4, discussing breast symptoms and concerns can be more challenging for young women. And number 5 is just a very confusing time for women because of lack of research. So those are the 5 facts about breast cancer in younger women. Let's dive deeper into this. When a woman is young and she is diagnosed with breast cancer, what is some of the presentation of it? We do know that number 1, the tumor biology is really distinct and different. Usually it confers a worse prognosis. Also, we know that there's poor tumor differentiation in this presentation. So there's increased gene expression in younger women. And most of the time, they are receptor negative breast cancer, which is a more aggressive form of breast cancer. And so because of all of this, we do not have enough research out there to really give information on this subtype of women with breast cancer. It's unfortunate, but that's a reality we live in. So therefore, things like diagnosis, prognosis, treatment, we do not have for this subtype. What we do have is information on older women that we extrapolate to the younger women to give us an idea of outcome for women. So more research is needed in this subtype of women. On the more interesting thing, globally perspective, breast cancer in younger women across continent is increasing. And just to kind of give you guys like a percentage of what to expect, like the Oceania is about 0.69%. In Europe is 0.63%. In Americas, that's your North and South America, that's 0.53%. And in Africa is 0.49%, Asia with the lowest at 0.38%. So it sounds very low, but when you convert that into numbers, it's quite a bit because, for example, Asia, it's the most populous continent in the world. So if you have 0.38%, that's a lot of numbers. As far as countries, the top 5, or I would just say the top 4 with high risk or high incidence of breast cancer in younger women presenting are: number 1, South Korea at 0.95%, UK 0.77%, the US has 0.61%, and Canada 0.61%. The flip side to that, the lowest risk in the country is in Guinea, and that's the country in Africa. It's at 0.13%. They have the lowest risk of breast cancer in younger women. Another thing to keep in mind, like in Asia, for example, there's a 6-fold difference among Asian countries. So not only is it the lowest, but depending which country in Asia, some of it is much higher. The variations of all these percentages that I just discussed with you really has to do with public registry, accurate accountability of who is diagnosed, and access to resources as well. So all of that affects this percentage. And a lot of westernized behavior, which is mainly lifestyle of processed food and decreased physical activity, is also contributing why some other countries are having higher rate of breast cancer in younger women. So the take-home message with this is that breast cancer in young women is a subpopulation. They have a very distinct tumor pathology. The prognosis, the diagnosis, evaluation, treatment is different, and there's not much research available for this subtype of women, but it is happening. The cancer is more aggressive, and they have a higher risk of having triple negative breast cancer, which is poorly differentiated and poor outcome. And because we don't have an understanding, we do know, however, that a global incidence is on the rise. Compared to the 1990s, the incidence of breast cancer in young women has shot up about 16%. So, as the second leading cancer in women, breast cancer that is, number 1 is lung cancer, that equates to about 244,000 cases diagnosed per year. That's a whole city in some countries, right? Unfortunately, the average risk for women with breast cancer is about 0.44%. So that is your chances of having breast cancer before the age 40. So what do you do with this information? This is a lot of statistics, it's a lot of numbers. What do you do if you're less than 40 and there's no screening test for breast cancer? Number 1, get really used to your body. Your breast exams are important. In my practice, I still say do it monthly. Some bodies recommend quarterly. Basically, my opinion, if you bathe every day, which I think everybody showers every day, you know your body. So being in tune with your body just on a daily basis, you don't have to become obsessed over it, but just being very aware and familiar is one thing you can do. Number 2, if you have a concern or worry, reach out to your physician or a practice, a clinic immediately. Don't chunk it off to, oh, I'm only 25. There's no way I'm going to have any problem. Follow up with it. And if you don't have insurance, you don't have money, let that not be a deterrent for you to find a way to help yourself. Because as you'll come to see, some patients, the reason why this end up being so aggressive and so far gone is because they don't have coverage. And so therefore, they just are afraid to consult because they're imagining the cost. And unfortunately, when it's diagnosed, it's already far gone. And then lastly, talk to friends, talk among your female friends, because conversations can trigger a thought process and it can trigger you to think along a line of something that can be helpful for you. So with all the information that I've just presented regarding breast cancer in younger women, less than 40, I think it's really important to put a voice to that message. This voice is a patient of mine that will come on and just tell you her story. Remember, I told you guys, I'm going to have inspiring stories during this podcast. This is one of those moments. Let's hear her inspiring story. And today I have a very lovely patient of mine. And let me just say this. October is breast cancer month. We all know this, and breast cancer is so prevalent now for whatever reason or another. And I just thought it would be a good opportunity to bring a patient of mine that has undergone through this process. But what is very important and unique is that breast cancer is increasing in women younger than 40. You heard that correctly. Women less than 40 are now having breast cancer. And there's so many reasons behind it. I will touch on this in another episode, but for today, I want someone that can actually talk about the journey and the experience. So welcome to the show today. I have my lovely patient here with me. How are you, gorgeous?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, thank you for asking. I'm doing well. She asked how I'm doing. It's all about you today. So Breast Cancer Awareness Month. When you hear about that, what do you think about it?
Oh, man. Each time I hear about that, I'm like, breast cancer. This is something I went through, and it was really, really tough. So, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. It's something that it's out there, and we can't do anything about it except let people really know about what is going on and see if they can also try to take care of themselves.
Yes. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for agreeing to come here to talk about this. Your journey is so inspiring.
Yeah.
And, just start by telling us before you came to the office, talk to me, what was that like,
I never thought it will be breast cancer. I did realize it like 2 years prior. I did realize that I had a knot in my breast, and not that I didn't go to the hospital. I did go to the hospital, but they didn't tell me it was breast cancer. They just told me that maybe it's a knot that most young girls nowadays have, and that sometimes it goes, or sometimes they just maybe do a surgery and take it out. So that made me to kind of relaxed. I wasn't thinking about it, but at a certain point, I started like feeling pain, feeling cold a lot, and I'm like, I don't think this not of a thing. This is supposed to hurt. I'm not sure it's supposed to hurt. So I did a little Google.
She went to Dr. Google, guys.
Yeah. And I'm like, if you have this pain, what does it signify? And all these things came up. Maybe it's cancer, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And that was when I'm like, okay, I think I need to see a doctor, like a real doctor, not because at the time I was going to the hospital, I didn't have insurance.
Yeah.
So I just kept going to the little clinics around where you pay cash, and they just see you, give you your medications, and you go home. So this time around, I'm like, okay, I think I really need to see a doctor, a real doctor. And that was when I met my mom. And I told her that, because all along I didn't tell her anything about it.
Really?
Yeah, I just told her that I have this pain, but I never really went deep into explaining how it is. So I went to her that day and I told her that this pain that I have been feeling is like 2 years now. And I think it's getting bad. It's not
going away.
Going away.
Yeah.
It's getting worse. I kept feeling this sharp pain. It comes and goes. And I told her that my breast doesn't look the same the way it used to. I'm thinking that my nipple is shifting from where it is. And so she asked me if she can look at it. And I said yes. And when she did, she's like, I don't think this is normal. We need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And so she said, I did ask her, I said, I don't have insurance, so where are we going to go to? And she was like, oh, I think I have a doctor. I think I have my doctor. Let's go first to her. Then from there, we will know what to do. So that was when we came here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when, and I was praying that it should be good news because I had like my Hawaii to go to.
Your Hawaii trip?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, not Hawaii.
Hawaii. And I'm like, please, it should be good news because I don't want to miss this trip.
Yeah.
So when we came and you did see us and you looked at it and said, okay, you have to send me for more checkups. Still, I wasn't in my brain. I'm like, okay, it's normal. I wasn't still thinking that it will be cancer. So when I went to do the mammogram and the ultrasound, that was when my whole world started changing, because when the doctor came in, because I did the first ultrasound and mammogram, and the doctor kind of looked at the pictures and all this stuff, and she came back in and told me that I think we will have to take permission from your doctor to do more tests. We have to do a biopsy. And that was when
you started thinking,
that was when my brain started like, please.
Let it not be.
Let it not be, please. Yeah. But, well, it happened that it was breast cancer, and I had to start with the treatment.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just from my perspective as that I was present in the beginning, as a physician, we can usually, when a patient presents to us with complaints and we see a patient, we usually have couple of things that it could be. Differential diagnosis is what we call it. But, in this case, it was very obvious.
Yeah.
But without speaking of the obvious, we have to do the proper workup and necessary referral that needed to be done. So once you kind of sat in this space like, okay, I have breast cancer. And how did that, because I understand the background and where you are in life also affects sort of how you feel about what you're told.
Yeah.
What did you think? Healthcare in this country is very expensive.
Yeah.
And here you are, you don't have insurance. What was that like to you?
Oh my God. At that moment, all what was in my mind is like, I'm going to die. Yeah, that was all that was in my mind, because first of all, I never had insurance, and it was really disturbing because even when I go to the hospital just for normal checkups, it's you don't really get that much care that you want to get because you don't have insurance. And I remember one time when I went to the hospital and the first question they did ask was, do you have insurance? And I said, no. So you don't get that. There's all the specialists that they're supposed to refer you to and all those stuff. You don't get that.
Yeah.
So when I was diagnosed, before, I remember you giving us like a reference that we should call this number. We did not call the number at that time at first because there was a lot of things going into our minds. But we did call another hospital first, trying to
schedule an
appointment. And the person behind the other line, she was talking to me, asking my information, and it got to the part of insurance. And she's like, do you have insurance? And I said, no. And she asked me to, she said, she was quiet for some time, and she said, okay, give me a moment. And I was on the phone for like almost 15 minutes to 20 minutes. And she came back and said, oh, I'm so sorry. When you have insurance, can you please give us back a call? And I was like, okay, so where am I going to have insurance now? Who want to give you insurance knowing that you've been diagnosed with cancer? I don't think that's possible. So at that time also, I just had a job to work with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Now that was a good place to have insurance. But their insurance doesn't kick in immediately.
Yes.
You have to be there for like 3 months before it
You have
kicks in.
insurance, yeah.
So me sitting there trying to think, do I want to wait for 3 months? Or like everything was just going through my mind.
Like, what do you do?
What do I do?
Right.
Do I want to wait for 3 months? Where do I go to? All this stuff. So that was when we remembered that, okay, we did have a number that we were given to call.
Mm-hmm.
So we did call the number, and the person gave us another number to call. And we called that one too. And she's like, okay, let me look for someone that you can talk to. And she got me a social worker. And so it's from the social worker that scheduled me at a little clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I went to the clinic, it happened to be a day that some of the big doctors were visiting the clinics.
Yeah.
And so she said, oh, we have a great doctor, an oncologist right here.
Okay.
So I will try for you to see her. So I said, okay. So I waited. And after some time, they called me in, and the oncologist looked at me, looked at my reports and everything. And she asked me, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a student. She said, and you don't have insurance? I said, no. And she said, okay, we will take your information and try to apply for a program for you and see if you'll be accepted. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So that was what they did. The social worker took my information, filled it, and submitted. So I think it's after like a month. And she called me and she's like, oh, you were accepted into the program, so we need to start your treatment right away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So during that 1 month when you were waiting, what was going through your mind?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. I was scared that I would not be accepted. And
did you have a backup plan?
no, I did not.
Okay.
But I was hoping that because I started the training at the job.
You're hoping you'll kick in,
Yeah,
and
I
you
was
can
hoping it
find.
would kick in. And the funniest thing is that when I was diagnosed, during that 1 week, I actually called to cancel that job.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like, I don't think I'll be able to do this job. Like there was so much going into my mind.
Absolutely, I can see that.
Yes, and I was supposed to start like 2 weeks to the. I was supposed to start. So I'm like, I don't think I can do it. I could not eat. I was just in the room thinking,
right? Just
thinking and thinking. And so I called and canceled the job.
Really?
I told them I will not be able to make it. I'm sorry, I will not be able to make it.
Yeah.
And the girl said, okay, we will process your documents. And 2 days later, a friend of mine called me. That's just the funniest thing, because I wasn't picking calls.
Right.
But I picked that call. And she was like, she's been trying to get to me. What's going on? So I explained to her that I was just diagnosed with breast cancer. And I happened to cancel the job that I just had. And she's like, I don't think you should cancel that job. I think you have to call them back, because that job is going to help you to not think.
That is true.
Yeah, that you have to go out there. You have to
keep living.
Yeah, make yourself busy.
Right.
Do not sit on one spot, because if you go out there and you're walking, you won't think about anything. So I think you should call them.
Okay.
So I said, okay. The next day, I took my phone and I called. And I'm like, I did call earlier to cancel this job. So I don't know if
it's still available. I want my job back.
Yeah. And the lady was like, oh, I'm just on your document to process it.
Oh, wow.
So we haven't processed it yet. So do you still want
the job?
I'm like, yes. Will you be able to start on this day? I'm like,
yes.
Of course, absolutely.
That's good.
And so she didn't process it. So that kept me for that time period, because now I have somewhere to go that I don't have to sit on one
Right.
spot to think about
Yeah.
anything.
And that's really true because, when you have a diagnosis so heavy, your whole world, you can just see it collapse in front of you.
Yeah.
And I think your friend, that was an angelic moment for your journey because having that mental break and distraction is important.
Yeah.
You also being a mom, that's something that I think is helpful. Also nerve-wracking, right?
Yeah.
So tell us, once you started a treatment, you sat down, they tell you, okay, you're going to go through treatment of breast cancer. What was your treatment consisted of?
I was supposed to start with chemo, then go to radiation, then go to surgery. Then if they told me if I would like, they would do me a reconstruction. So that was the phase.
All right.
So I had 6 months of chemo.
Okay.
From there, I was given time to come back to my normal self. I had 3 months of radiation every morning. Then I was given some time to kind of recover a little bit. Then I had a double mastectomy where both breasts were taken out. And after that, I was asked if I wanted the reconstruction. And I said, yes. So they took me through the different types of reconstruction, the implant and the flap. So I decided to take the flap.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did ask if the implants have any chances of having cancer.
Yes.
And they were like, oh, yes, there is a 2% chance. And I'm like, I'm not going through this again.
You're not taking no chances.
No.
That's smart.
Yeah, so I went with the flap where tissue was taken from my belly and put on my chest.
Yeah, reconstruct the breast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I think it's really kind of important to tell the audience how young you were when you got this news, because we're talking about young women and breast cancer less than 40. So how young were you?
I was 30.
30 years young.
30 years young.
That is very young, guys.
Yeah. And that was one of the reasons why the oncologist insisted that I needed to apply for the program, because she was like, you're too young
for this.
You're so young. And she asked me, is there any history of breast cancer in your family? And I'm like, I don't know of any. So she had to do a genetic test.
Yeah.
To check and make sure that she just wanted to know if it's like a family gene or something,
right?
In which it came out to
negative.
Negative. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know where it came from. I'm the first person in my family to have that. So it was really surprising to everyone, shocking to my mom especially.
Yeah.
Because she was the one who was really feeling the pain. I mean, I was feeling the pain, but I'm her only daughter. So
oh, man.
She has just 2 of us. So I'm the girl.
Yeah.
And she has the other one, my elder brother. So she was the one who was really going through the whole pain. She would look at me and cry every day.
Oh, no.
And she kept saying that it's the child to bury the mom, not the mom to bury the daughter. So
that's very true.
It was really messing her up.
Yeah. It can be very overwhelming as a parent to see a disease that is not associated with young ones plague your child. So I can really imagine that. And you being a mom too, you have a son. So how that goes. So talk to me about some of the symptoms and your experience with the treatment. Because I think it's important for young women to know, especially young women of African descent, to know what that feels like for them.
For the symptoms, I had the pain, the sharp pain. So that it's something that it was there for I think I had the pain for 3 years, but I never really thought that it will be cancer,
Yeah.
I had a sharp pain. It would run through my chest, so sharp. And I would just kind of just
Bear down.
and hold my chest. And I'm like, okay, sometimes I thought maybe it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the AC is too high or something. Then I was also feeling a lot of cold, like so much cold. I didn't know that was part of the symptoms at the time until when the doctor was giving me all of the symptoms.
Yeah.
And she was like, do you feel cold sometimes a lot? And I'm like, yes. But I didn't know it was just part of that, because I was always constantly feeling cold, even when it's hot. I feel a lot, especially when I put my hands in water, I will feel these colds that I will have to go and take a little nap to come back to myself.
Wow.
Before. So that was one of the main symptoms, that coldness. I always felt that with the pain. Then I had an inverted nipple. So my nipple was kind of displacing from where it was.
Correct.
Going behind, getting back. And my areola, the round part of my nipple was kind of swollen and red.
Yes.
So those were the symptoms I noticed.
Yeah. And the problem with breast cancer in young women is that there's no screening modality, guys. So you don't get mammogram or ultrasound. There's no recommendation. And so most of the time when it's picked up is more aggressive, it's far gone just because of that.
Yeah.
So some of the things to think about is, as a young woman, is to be familiar with your own anatomy.
Yeah. And you're right, because it was what I had was invasive breast cancer. It's something that you can live with it like 5 years before it even starts manifesting. So you won't even notice that you have that. It will just be in you. So it can go as far as 5 years before it even starts developing for you to really know that something is wrong with you.
Yeah.
So
it's, it's, guys, I told you this is going to be a very inspiring podcast. My lovely patient here, she's been so gracious to show up here to talk about her experience and her journey. And she's not alone. There are thousands of women across the US and across the world that are diagnosed with breast cancer and no history, nothing. And so being very familiar with your body and in tune with the changes in your body, and also not being afraid to speak up or to seek help. I know in your case, the challenges were you're a student, you're thinking about your finances and how do I go about these things. But I am grateful that you came when you did. But some women, they never show up.
Yeah.
And, by the time it's noticed, it's already far gone, where,
Exactly.
the outcome is not the greatest. Yeah. So since you've undergone all this treatment and this therapy, how is life for you now?
Oh, it's beautiful.
She says beautiful. I love it.
It's beautiful. I never knew that that day would come where I would play the bell.
Yes.
It was a hard journey, especially during the chemo period. It was really, really, really hard. At the moment, I thought of giving up. Yeah, I thought of giving up. I remember one time I was in the room. I just sat on the floor crying. And my mom's friend, she was visiting. She came in and saw me crying, and she was like, "Why are you crying?" I told her, I don't think how I can continue with this. I don't think so. And she asked me, "So you want to stop?" I said, "Yes." "So you want to just stay until you go?" I said, "Yes." And she asked me, "So who is going to take care of your son? You have a son. So who do you want to take care? Who do you want
to look after him?"
To look after him? Say, do you want your son to be where you don't want him to be? I said, no. Say, so you have to keep fighting. Fight. You need to keep fighting until you don't have any bone left in you. And I'm like, I think I want to enjoy this little time I have. I don't want to spend all the time fighting, and maybe tomorrow they tell me that, oh, we are sorry, we can't, there's nothing we can do anymore.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't think I want to fight. She said, you're still very young. You have that energy to fight.
Yes.
So you have to keep fighting. You don't have to give up. Keep fighting. And so when she said that, she left me alone. She said, you need to cry. I'm not going to stop you from crying. Okay. Crying is very important. So I'm going to leave you to cry. But why crying? Think about it. So she left me there and I kept crying still. And after a while, I sat and I thought about it. I'm like, okay, who do I want to leave my son with? You know? I don't want him to grow with grandma. Grandma is going to spoil him a lot. So his father is not here. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I have to fight. Mm-hmm. That's the only option I have, to fight. Yeah. And I was told that do not go around people. Maybe your white blood cells are too low. Correct. You don't want to get infected. Mm-hmm. So you need to avoid people. You need to avoid this. You don't have to eat this. You don't have to eat that. So my life was basically
very streamlined.
Yeah. But I had to go against some of those things because me just sitting at home without people was depressing.
Yes, I can imagine.
Really depressing. There is nothing doing. I was just there thinking. In what I did first, I had to continue my education. I'm like, okay, I won't give up on my education. Originally, I was going in for dental hygiene. Okay. Because I was sick, I could not be present in class to do the dental hygiene studies. I now looked up a different career.
What is that career?
Health information technology.
Okay, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. It turned out to be the best.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it turned out to be the best because I was looking at something that I can do online. Okay. 100% online.
I can see that.
Yes. I didn't want to just sit there going through the treatment, doing nothing. Yeah. I wanted my brain to be busy.
Right. That is really inspiring that even in this heavy moment, you still were able to say, you know what, I want to improve my education, my knowledge, and broaden my skill set. Yeah. So clearly you were thinking about leaving.
Yeah.
If you're doing that.
Yeah, I started thinking about leaving. Yes. And I'm like, okay, if I have to leave, then
I have to do something.
I have to do something. Right now, I was working, but I wasn't working full time because I only go when I'm feeling better. Mm-hmm. The chemo, when I take the chemo, it kind of knocks me down for some days. Yes. And I would just go maybe one day in a week. So I was looking for something that during those days that I'm just lying on the bed, I should be able to
do something.
Do something, not sit and think, but let my brain do something. So I enrolled in health information technology, and my professors were really understanding.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because I explained to them that this is what I'm going through. So maybe I'll be late sometimes with homework. Maybe I won't attend classes sometimes. Okay. And they were like, that's fine. Anytime. Just let us know.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. If you're not able to do something, just let us know. And so that was how I got through that.
And did you finish the program?
I did.
Congratulations.
I'm graduating this December.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm excited.
I finished the program. I wrote the board exams and I passed.
Wow. Yeah, congratulations.
So, thank you.
Smart.
Thank you. Yeah. So another thing that I did to keep myself busy was I involved myself with our traditional stuff. I am African, and we have this
So, okay, I'm going to pause you there.
Okay.
Saying you're African is nice, but we need to be very clear. Africa is a continent with 54 countries.
Yes.
So, can you be specific, Madam African?
Yes, ma'am. I am African. I come from West Africa, specifically Cameroon.
Okay.
Yes. That's all. They do speak both English and French.
Correct.
So I'm from both sides,
Yes.
both the English and the French section.
All right. She's bilingual. That's what
Yeah.
she's telling us. So you got involved in the cultural,
In the
you were
culture,
saying?
yes. We do have cultural groups here, like a cultural meeting and all those stuff, and we do have the cultural dance.
Mm-hmm.
We always do like conventions and all those stuff. So during the period where when I was taking my radiation, I got to know about these groups.
Yeah.
Because originally I wasn't I didn't really bother about that.
Yeah,
But
you kept to yourself.
I kept
You
to
were
myself.
not in depth in the culture.
Yes.
Okay.
But at that time, I was looking for something to keep me busy.
Yeah.
I needed something.
You needed a village. You needed a support.
Yes. So I got to know about our cultural group. I joined the group. And when I joined the group, I realized we had a section of it that was for the cultural dance and all those stuff. So I joined that too. And I'm like, okay, I need to dance. We had practice almost every day. So I get to leave the house.
And go and practice.
Dance. Sometimes when I do that, I feel so tired. It was tiring because I didn't really have the energy to do that. But I was like,
I need this.
I
have to keep going.
Yes. When I go do that, I come back home, I would cry to my mom. I'm like, my legs are paining, my body is paining. And she will be like, I told you to not go to these things. And I told her, I can't sit here. I need something to keep me. I asked her, do you want me to sit here and think and die fast? Do you want that? And she's like,
no, of course not.
No, if that will make you happy.
Yes.
Just go. And please don't overdo it.
Yeah.
Remember, you're sick, so don't overdo it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I like that you brought up the fact about culture perspective because, now I speak to my young African in a diaspora. Breast cancer is something that we don't openly talk about.
Yeah.
And also back home, we don't have some screening modalities or the information to spread. And there has been a significant rise in young women with breast cancer diagnosis that are from African descent here in the US.
Yeah.
And thank you for bringing this story because we can put a face to it, but also inspiration, having a community to talk about it. And, one of the things I'm going to challenge you on or empower you to is to create a group.
Okay.
A group that's focused on young African women in diaspora with a history of breast cancer.
Okay.
Do you know of one? Because I don't.
I think I do.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I do.
Well, we need to bring that group up in light.
Okay.
Because, conversations like this is important because it makes you realize that you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
2, you have a familiar voice.
Yeah.
And then 3, you have a village.
Yeah.
The bigger village of breast cancer survivor is great, but then there are a subset of villages,
Yes.
so you tend to gravitate and look for something that's even more familiar down to culture. So, thank you for sharing that aspect of it. So it was very obviously a great part of your recovery.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. I get to create new friends. Dance, which was so interesting.
Yes. Was this your first time learning these dances?
It was.
Really?
That was my first time. Like, I was surprised myself. Like, oh, I can dance. I didn't know I could dance. So that was my first time. And we had a convention in which we had to, the traditional dance had to present. And I really killed it.
She killed it. That's good.
Yeah. And I was made the whistleblower.
Yes.
I was the one blowing the whistle for
Yes,
people
controlling the movement and the steps.
movement. And I that was my first time, and it was really interesting.
Yeah.
It was so interesting. And a lot of them, the funniest thing is, a lot of them didn't know I was sick.
Oh, really?
Yes, they didn't. At the time, I had tissue expanders on. And so I was dancing with tissue expanders.
Yeah.
So they didn't know I was sick.
Oh, man.
And I was killing myself and dancing. So after the convention, a week later, I had to go for surgery.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when they heard that Gwen, that girl, was displaying here,
was actually going through all of this.
actually going through all of this, and she's in surgery right now. It kind of surprised everyone. They were like, wow.
Yeah.
Wait, so all along you were sick, like not always sick, but cancer.
Yeah.
You're going through this treatment, and you look so happy. You always come here smiling and all the stuff. You danced.
Yeah.
And I told them that was the only thing that I needed, something to make me happy.
Yeah.
So that made me happy.
Oh, man. So I want to ask you, if there are 3 things you could tell someone that's in your position when they're told at a young age that they have breast cancer far advanced, what is the 3 things you would tell them?
First, they should not give up.
Okay.
That's the first. They should not give up.
Okay.
They should not let the illness take over them. They should take over the illness, because that was what I did. I took over it. I get my chemo like 3 times a week, but everyone knows what chemo is. Mm-hmm. It's not an easy thing to go through. It breaks you down completely. Each time I get a round of chemo, I come back home, I'm done. But I kept going. I said, I'm not going to let this take over me. I'm going to take over it.
Good.
I was walking, when I started with the chemo, I was walking in Palestine. It's 3 hours drive away from here. So I take chemo, I will rest like a few days, and I drive 3 hours.
To go back to your town.
Work. Wow. Yes. And when I get there, even my colleagues didn't know I was sick, just my the major, because I was working at the Texas Criminal Justice. So it was just the warden mm-hmm. that knew I wasn't feeling good. But my colleagues did not know. So when I'm at the job, I'm moving from one place to another, because they always put me at a utility post where I move up and down.
Yeah.
So I'm moving up and down. And when my legs become swollen, my warden said, you need to stop.
Yeah.
This is a lot. You need to stop. You need to go home. You need to go rest.
Yeah.
So that was when I decided to let go of the job. I really need to rest before it becomes worse.
I hear that. So 3 things. You've told them, keep going.
Second, look for something that inspires you. Use that. If it's music, sing all the time. Make sure you always sing. If it's dancing, dance. You want to dance. If you're traveling, if you have the energy to travel.
Yeah.
Just look for something that will keep you going. The third one, I know they will tell you that don't go around people, don't do this, don't do that. But I think being around people helps a lot. Mm-hmm. It does. Because I'm using an example on my own case. I was around people. I had to know when to protect myself. I know I'm sick, so I have to protect myself. So when I'm around people, I do wear all these masks and all this stuff. But it's being around people that helped me because I get to listen to beautiful stories. We laughed, we eat, dance, move around. So it was being around people, especially friends. I had a friend. She always teases me. When I get up in the morning, my legs will be so painful because I had edema on my legs. So when I sleep at night, I put the legs up. So when the water drains, now my tissues start hurting. So when I get up in the morning, I can't put my feet down. I have to stumble around for a long time before I'm able to pick up back on my feet. And when she sees me doing that, because she decided, she told me one time, you're not going to rent. You need someone that will live with you. You're not going to stay alone. So you need to come and live with me. So when I get to Palestine where I'm working, I live with her.
Okay.
Yes, because she told me you're not going to live alone.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be alone because you might need someone at a certain point in time. So I was living with her. So when she sees me in the morning stumbling around, she would just come and stand and look at me. She said, damn, it looks as if they have panabited you little by little, little by little. And I would just start laughing. She will make sure that I should laugh. Yeah. She doesn't want me to think about anything. She wants me to always laugh. So it's that being around people that also helped in my recovery because I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be alone.
Yeah.
So I was always out there.
That's good.
Yes.
I mean, a diagnosis like that, community is important.
Very.
So that's what you're referring to.
Yes.
And that community can look different for everyone, know. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be organizations, it could be, online community.
Online, yes. I did have all that. I had the online musical because I did love music a lot. When I was going through chemo, I told my doctor, she asked me what I really love. And I told her music. So they did arrange with someone to come into my room each time I'm taking chemo and to play me the guitar. Yeah, so each time I'm taking chemo, the lady is there. She's going to ask me the kind of music I love. And I will tell her and she will play it and we will both sing.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
So it was beautiful.
Yeah. So the Polished Beauty podcast, we have a segment where it's basically where ambition meets empowerment. And your story has so many ambitious moments and so many empowering moments. Yeah. But what I want to know from you is, what is that one bold thing or one bold step that you've done in your life or your career that's gotten you here today?
I think it's my son.
My son. Your son?
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
It's my son.
Yeah.
Looking at him every day gave me the hope to want to fight.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
It's my son.
Love it.
And it was also getting to him because he started understanding that his mom is not feeling good. So it was getting to him. And his teacher started noticing it.
Oh, man.
Yeah. After some time, the teachers called me and they're like, he cries every day in school. Is there something that is going on that we don't know about? And so I called him one day, I put him down, and I'm like, what's going on? Your teacher told me that you cry every day in school. And he said, I don't want you to go. Looking at him so young.
Yeah.
And thinking that I'm going, it kind of made me realize that I had to step up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to fight. Because he's so young to think that.
Yeah.
So I had to talk to him and I told him, I'm not going anywhere.
I'm still here.
I'm still here and I'm going to be here.
That's
I'm
right.
not going anywhere. So that made me to want to fight. I'm like, I need to do this.
Mm.
Yeah, I need to do this. This is not going to take over me. I'm going to take over it.
Yeah. Somebody is dependent on you.
Yes, I need to do this.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I think we've been polished. I hope you enjoyed this episode and thank you for listening. Video recording of this episode will be featured on our YouTube channel, Dr. Daisy Ayim. We are also found on Instagram at Polished Beauty Podcast or at Dr. Daisy Ayim. Remember, new episode drop every Wednesday, so stay tuned. Please like, share, follow.